Wewe kama Muislamu utakapomtembelea ndugu yako, Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam anasema hakuna Muislamu yoyote atakayemtembelea ndugu yake Muislamu wakati ambapo ni mgonjwa, ikawa muda wake wa kuishi upo katika dunia, bado upo, ule ni mtihani tu Allah amempa kwa ugonjwa kama ule.
Yule ambaye atamtembelea mgonjwa, natija ambayo anaipata ni kuwa wakati ambapo upo katika ile wadi ambayo umeenda kumtembelea yule mgonjwa ama katika chumba chake, itakuwa ni kana kwamba upo katika bustani, katika mabustani ya pepo ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Good afternoon. It is World Radio Day. We do appreciate the rich voices behind the microphones. You are in time for the Lunchtime News. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. On Sign Language Interpretation this afternoon, we have Lensa Odingo. Let's interact on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Our top focus this afternoon, the Director of Public Prosecution, Renson Mulele, has filed a notice of appeal against the acquittal of Jackie Maribe in the murder case of businesswoman Monica Kimani. However, the prosecution, which is dissatisfied with the ruling of Judge Grace Nzioka, says will file the memorandum of appeal after it is served with the full judgment of the case. The prosecution had argued that Maribe planned, together with her former fiancé Joseph Irungu, to murder the businesswoman, but was acquitted by the court after the prosecution failed to table evidence linking her with the crime. All right, it is World Radio Day, and today we're taking you behind the scenes to understand the concept behind the production that you get to hear on the radio voice from the radio stations. I do understand my colleague Beatrice Gatonya Ngetich is in one of the studios here at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, that is Radio Taifa, and our reader this hour is Asha Hamisi. Let's cross over and listen in as it's at the top of the hour. The radio desk is as well having a bulletin.
Monica ulisababisha kuachiliwa kwake. Wizara ya Afya imetetea mipango ya serikali ya kuwatuma wauguzi zaidi ya 2500 ghaibuni, ikisema taifa hili lina wahudumu wa afya wengi kupita kiasi. Wizara hiyo ilipuuza swala lililoibuliwa na baraza la magavana kwamba hatua hiyo inaweza kuathiri sekta ya afya na kwamba idadi ya maafisa wa afya humo nchini haitoshi. Wiki iliyopita mwenyekiti wa kamati ya afya ya baraza la magavana Muthome Njuki alisema taifa limetumia mamilioni ya fedha katika mafunzo ya madaktari na itakuwa pigo kubwa iwapo madaktari hao watafaidi mataifa mengine. Akitetea hatua hiyo, katibu katika Wizara ya Afya Mary Muthoni alisema wahudumu wa afya wamekuwa wakifuzu kila mwaka ili kukidhi mahitaji yanayoongezeka. Aliongeza kuwa mwaka uliopita wanafunzi 22,000 walifuzu katika chuo cha mafunzo ya utabibu nchini, idadi ambayo ni kubwa. Muthoni alihusisha msimamo wa baraza la magavana na ukosefu wa habari za hivi punde, akiongeza kuwa wizara yake italitaarifu baraza hilo la magavana habari ya kiaminifu. ilisababisha vifo vya watu 17 katika eneo la Kirinyaga wamezuiliwa korokoroni. Maafisa hao walifikishwa katika mahakama ya Baricho leo asubuhi, ambapo hakimu mkuu mwandamizi Steven Nyaga aliwaruhusu polisi kuwazuilia katika kituo cha polisi cha Kerugoya hadi tarehe 7 mwezi Machi mwaka huu ili kutoa nafasi ya kukamilishwa kwa uchunguzi. Aliyekuwa OCS wa kituo cha polisi cha Kamarishiri, Kennedy Mugambi, ambaye kwa sasa ni superintendent wa polisi huko Kabete, ni miongoni mwa wale waliozuiliwa. Mugambi pamoja na Alan Kiamazi, Brian Kariuki na Francis Muteithia wanadaiwa kuingia katika gala la kituo cha polisi cha Kiamashiri katika eneo la Mwea Magharibi na kuiba pombe hiyo ambayo ilipaswa kutumika kama ushahidi na kumuuzia mfanyabiashara mmoja. Pombe hiyo haramu baadaye iliuzwa kwa baa moja katika eneo la Kangai ambapo ilisababisha vifo vya watu 17. Maafisa hao wanasemekana kuuza pombe hiyo kwa mmiliki wa baa ya California John Mureithi Karaya usiku wa tarehe 4 mwezi Februari mwaka huu kwa shilingi 20,000. Maafisa wa polisi katika eneo la Mlolongo, kaunti ya Machakos, wamewanasa washukiwa wa biashara ya pombe haramu wakati wa msako kuhusu pombe za ngazi ya pili kwenye barabara kuu ya Nairobi kuelekea Mombasa. Kwa mujibu wa kamanda wa polisi kaunti ndogo ya Athi River Mashariki Anderson Bae, katoni 65 zisizo na nembo zenye chupa 20 kila moja zilikuwa na pombe haramu zenye nembo ya straight vodka na zilinaswa wakati mmiliki wake alipoacha shehena hiyo iliyokuwa imebebwa na gari dogo la kibinafsi katika kituo cha mafuta ya petroli eneo la Athi River. Mbaye alisema polisi walipata habari kutoka kwa wananchi. Kamanda huyo alisema dereva wa gari hilo alikataa amri ya polisi ya kusimama kwenye barabara hiyo na kuwazibu kumwandama. Gari hilo lilisafirishwa hadi kituo cha polisi cha Mlolongo. Kwa sasa polisi wanamsaka dereva alitoroka. Wazee wa jamii ya Gikuyu almaarufu Kiama katika kaunti ya Kiambu wametoa wito kwa bunge la kaunti hiyo kuangazia upya sheria ya kukadiria thamani ya ardhi. Hii ni baada ya serikali ya kaunti kupendekeza ushuru kwa ardhi isiyo ya kukodishwa. Wazee hao wamedai kwamba sheria hiyo itawakandamiza wakazi wa kaunti hiyo iwapo itatekelezwa. Sheria hiyo iliyobuniwa mwaka 2016 wakati wa utawala wa aliyekuwa gavana wa kaunti hiyo Ferdinand Waititu iliorodhesha ardhi hiyo miongoni mwa ardhi inayopaswa kutozwa ushuru licha ya kutokuwepo kwa sharti kama hilo tangu Kenya inyakue uhuru. Wazee hao wakiongozwa na mwenyekiti wa wazee wa jamii ya Kiama katika kaunti ya Kiambu Shamte Munywa walisema sheria hiyo inapaswa kutupiliwa mbali kwa sababu wakaazi wa eneo hilo hawawezi kumudu gharama ya ushuru wa ardhi hiyo. Munywa amehimiza wawakilishi wodi kupatia swala hilo kipaumbele na kulishughulikia haraka iwezekanavyo ili kuwanusuru wakaazi kutokana na masaibu ya gharama kubwa ya ushuru wa ardhi.
Thank you, and well done, Asha Hamisi. This as we mark World Radio Day. You do understand there is the queue in, there is the queue out. We also have the sound bites in the radio desk, and that is Asha Hamisi together with Cynthia Anyango Wright from Radio Taifa Station. In other news, Kenya and the Islamic Republic of Iran will continue to deepen cooperation, particularly in technology and innovations, agriculture, healthcare sectors, among others. Speaking during the 45th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution of Iran National Day, Iran Ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Ali Golampur, and Kenya's Acting Director General in the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ambassador Paul Kamweru, underscored the need for both nations to use existing cooperation mechanism to explore more practical steps and areas of mutual benefits.
Members of the diplomatic corps, religious leaders, members of the public, top government officials led by Acting Director General in the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ambassador Paul Kamweru, joined the Islamic Republic of Iran Ambassador to Kenya, that is Dr. Ali Golampur, during occasion to mark the 45th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution of Iran National Day in Nairobi. It was here that Iran Ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Ali Golampur, pledged his country's commitment to continue deepening cooperation, particularly in the innovations and technology, agriculture, healthcare, among others.
In respect of bilateral relations, with the Republic of Kenya, a lot has been achieved and a lot more yet to be done. Well-established friendly and amicable relations between the two countries provide a solid ground for expanding trade and investments and enhancing economic relations.
The diplomat said that by tapping into Kenya's innovative spirit, Iran aims to enhance its own technological capabilities and foster economic growth.
The Islamic Republic of Iran has constantly followed a balanced, influential, and independent foreign policy. Iran pursues friendly relations with other countries in all areas of mutual interest. Iran emphatically works for international peace and security, crisis resolution.
The chief guest, Acting Director General in the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ambassador Paul Kamweru, said there are viable opportunities for mutual beneficial cooperation in the field of energy, telecommunication, and agriculture.
There is an opportunity for the two sides to work together to increase this volume and indeed the overall level of bilateral trade. It is notable that there are valuable opportunities for mutually beneficial cooperation in the field of energy, in the field of telecommunications, and even in agriculture.
Kamweru said Kenya is looking forward to hosting the 17th session of the Kenya-Iran Joint Cooperation Conference here in Nairobi in May this year.
As we look forward to hosting the 7th session of the Kenya-Iran Joint Commission for Cooperation here in Nairobi in May, we believe that both our countries will use this existing cooperation mechanism to explore further more areas of collaboration.
All right, let's cross over to Nanyuki, where the Ministry of Tourism is this hour celebrating the successful translocation of 21 eastern black rhinos from locations of Olpejeta Lewa conservancies in the region. Let's cross over and listen in. As I do understand, the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism, Dr. Alfred Mtua, is currently speaking.
I have one question
Yes.
is about in your previous statement you have talked about the government is not going to allow sport hunting or poaching. Has there been external pressure to force the government to open sport hunting in the country?
No, I think the pressure that is there is coming from us to our friends in the various African countries that we cannot afford to open this up, because what happens that when you introduce sport hunting, people are hunting, they're getting into that culture where we were of ivory, of rhino horns, you know, and if they don't get enough from the sport hunting, what will they do? They'll come for the ones that are alive. You'll start hearing that Aloisaba rhino is missing its horns, because now we introduced that market into the world. So we are sending a message to the rest of our African brothers and sisters that you know, where we are right now, the idea, the issues of hunting, you know, so that you can do it for sports is gone. You know, those are things that were done in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Now we are much wiser, and let's do things a bit better.
One question. You talked about fencing. What priority areas are you fencing, and do you have a budget?
Yes, so we've already started fencing. We had a budget of 300 million, which we tendered, and I think as per yesterday, I was informed all the people who won the tenders have been given contracts. We are fencing in many places in this country. We are fencing in the Abadeas. We are fencing here in Samburu area, in Laikipia. We are fencing in Makueni. We are fencing at the coast. So we are fencing all over. And we are going to look and see how we can inject another 300 million very soon to continue with the fencing program. Because it is sad when a parent is killed by an elephant or a lion because the lion meandered into where the people live. We are also running initiatives to teach people about wildlife corridors. Animals have behaviors, you know, whereby with the end of rainy season or lack of rainy season, they moved. You hear about the Masai Mara, you know, moving from Serengeti to Mara. It's because it was a corridor. The animals moved. Even today, the animals still move. But unfortunately, when they go into those corridors, you see an elephant coming. Where they were supposed to pass, where they have been passing for generations, is a homestead, is a school, is a farm. Because we moved in and we we got settlements where we do not think about the wildlife corridors. So we'll be looking at how we can post so wananchi know that this is a wildlife corridor. So expect an elephant anytime. And that if you are going out to cultivate in an area, we'll put signage telling you this is an animal migration corridor, so that ukikuta mahindi zako zimeliwa zote usililie KWS wakulipe that you want to be paid by KWS because your feed has been eaten, because you will be aware that this is a corridor. You'll be telling your children when you're coming from school, don't pass through here because this is a wildlife corridor. They may not be here now, but they've been using this route for centuries, and they'll still come. It's like they have a GPS when they are born in their heads, and they'll always pass through that route to go to somewhere else.
Just a question, Bwana Waziri. In countries like Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa, they practice the honing of rhinos as an anti-poaching measure. Do we also practice that in Kenya?
No, we do not. We believe that a rhino needs to live the way it was created by God, with all its its horns and all other body parts, so that people can enjoy seeing the rhino and the rhino can live a free life. It is our responsibility to protect that rhino through community initiatives like these ones, through protection of those animals, through the various conservation efforts that have been supported by many in the world, so that we can keep those rhinos the way they were supposed to be, the way they were created.
Waziri, that is equivalent to FGM. If you put it the other way around.
Singesema hiyo. Is anything?
Yeah.
I think tumemaliza.
Tumemaliza. DG for 1-2 questions, please.
Okay.
On statistics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which numbers?
Dr. Alfred Mutua, Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, addressing concerns on human-wildlife conflicts in the country. This as he leads a delegation in Nanyuki in celebrating the successful translocation of 21 eastern black rhinos from 3 locations of Olpejeta and Lewa conservancies in the area. Now, in other news this afternoon, a family in Kenyanya sub-county is seeking answers following the tragic death of their son. The family from Kebaracho village in Kisii County wants to know why the school delayed in taking their son to hospital when he fell ill, saying timely medical attention would have saved their son's life. Brian Otara was a Form 1 student at Rio Kondo Boys High School, and he passed away while being rushed to the hospital.
According to the nurse at Rio Kindo Dispensary, Edna Chuma, Brian was admitted with symptoms of diarrhea.
I reported back to the teacher, nikamwambia, huyu kijana is very in a critical condition, we refer.
Brian was allegedly sick for 4 days with no medical attention provided while in school.
Haki tendeke na nielezwe vizuri mtoto wangu amefariki kwa njia gani na ni kwa nini ifike kiwango wakati mtoto amezidiwa na ugonjwa ndio tunafahamishwa. Mmesikia wanyama mtoto amekuwa mgonjwa on Wednesday.
The family would later be called by the school's deputy to pick their child. The Otara family, however, say the school management denied them permission to get their child clean clothes to change before being taken to hospital.
Kapata mwalimu huyo wa deputy asa kaniambia saa hii hatuwezi tukapata mtoto wako kwa field huko. Sasa nikashindwa vile nitafanya, nikawaambia sasa nimeshindwa vile nitapatilisha mtoto. Enda tu utafute kitambaa umfunike muende ndio nikuje kukuandikia ile wanasema receipt.
The family further claims the school also refused to provide transport for Brian, who was critical at the time.
Kama wameshughulika basi kupeleka mtoto dispensary na condition ile wameona, hawangepeleka mtoto na gari ya shule hospitali, hata kama ni ya juu, hata kama ni ambulance, hawana namba wanaweza piga ichukue mtoto hospitali ambayo inaweza mhudumia.
Huyo mtoto alikufia tu tukikuwa kwa pikipiki. Tukifika hospitali, sasa ule mwenye alikuwa anamtibu akasema mtoto wako amesaha nini? Amesaha.
Despite repeated attempts, the school principal, Gerald Orina, declined to comment on the matter. The family is now pleading for justice for their fallen kin. John Junge for Lunchtime News.
Kiama Kia Ma elders in Kiambu County have called on the County Assembly to review the Kiambu County Evaluation Rule and Rating Act that has introduced taxation of freehold land. The elders claim that the law is punitive and will hurt Kiambu residents if implemented. The act, which was enacted in 2016 during the former Governor Ferdinand Waititu's reign, added freehold lands as rateable. The elders who spoke during their prayers meeting in Udhuri Cultural Center in Juja said that the law must be reviewed and repealed by the MCAs upon resumption of their sittings on Wednesday. The elders, led by Kiambu County Kia Ma Chairman Shamte Munywa, said that the law should be scrapped completely.
Mambo ya mpaka iliongelewa kidogo na gavana wa Kiambu akiwa Senate, na alikuwa anasema hiyo mambo tumkamilishe ili shilingi iwe inaingia kwa shilingi kwa kila mtu moja. Kwa hivyo tunawaomba ma-MP wetu wawache kusikiza vile hii watu wa opposition wanasema, mfanye haraka tupitishe hii maneno.
Sheria iliwekwa 2016, tungesema vile hiyo mashamba tangu ukoroni hizo mashamba hazijawahi lipiwa kodi hata shilingi moja. Waachane nazo zikae hivyo. Zile zinastahili kulipiwa kodi zilipiwe kodi, lakini zile tumeashua na mababu za babu zetu waachane nayo. Hiyo sheria wameweka, waifanyie amendment. Waache kutuambia ati ni ya 2016, waifanyie amendment, wako na uwezo.
Back to the city, businesses this afternoon resuming at the Parliament buildings. The August House is this afternoon expected to have a session. My colleague Kamche Menza is at the Parliament buildings. Kamche, good afternoon.
Well, thank you, Irene Muchuma Odim, back in studio. Like you said, we are set and ready to take off here at Parliament, this being the third session of the 13th Parliament. Remember, on 7th is when Parliament took a long recess for the Christmas break, and today marks the official opening day for the Parliament. This is both houses. Remember, this is a bicameral Parliament, and this includes the Senate and also the National Assembly. So without much ado, we understand that there is so much agenda for the Parliament, both the National Assembly and the Senate. But right now, I'm joined by Honorable George Murugara, who is the chair of the Justice Legal Affairs Committee, just to inform us on what exactly is set to take place, let's say this afternoon. And of course, we understand what will be given priority as the start begins officially sitting tomorrow. Welcome, Hesh.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
maybe
you.
To start us off, what are we expecting this afternoon? We understand it's day one of the third session.
Thank you so much. We are grateful to God that we are back. Most of us are here, and we are ready to start the day this afternoon. According to the tradition of the House, what comes up the first day of the session is approval of the House Business Committee. This is the committee where the leaders of the House, the senior level leaders sit, and they're the ones who set the agenda. They are the ones who do the order paper for Parliament. Therefore, today we begin by constituting the committee, and as soon as we do that, we will rise. We will adjourn for the day so that the committee will retreat and set up what we have tomorrow, the next day, and from there, business continues. Yes.
For the purposes of making our viewer understand, is it the normal or the House Business Committee that we had last session? Is it the same one we will have this session, or is there going to be a voting maybe to accept these members?
I have not seen the order paper of today, but I have no reason to believe we are going to change. Possibly the House Business Committee, which we had last year, is the one we are going to have this afternoon and the rest of this session.
So clearly we're going to have an agreement on the House Business membership. What are we likely to see, maybe let's say from tomorrow morning, or as the Kenya Kwanza government being the majority in Parliament? What are the businesses that has been given the front?
Tomorrow we begin, being a Wednesday, it will be a normal day. We will have the private members' motions and bills. We will deal with that in the morning. In the afternoon, the real business of the House will begin. This is where now important government business, which takes priority, will start getting itself among the first matters on the order paper. And we expect to see everything. We have the housing levy, affordable housing bill. We need to hear of this one. We have a statute law miscellaneous amendment bill. It has many important government proposals for amendment. We have the National Security Act, which is also like a miscellaneous amendment, amending the security laws in the country. That also takes priority. And as soon after that, you're going to see the supplementary budget. That is likely to come up. And then from there, we move on to what we call the budget cycle of Parliament.
We also understand you will give priority to the NADCO report, right?
Yes, we were told that is going to take priority, but it also depends on what the other side is saying. But of importance in NADCO report is IBC, because we need to constitute IBC. And sorry about that. We will put priority as Justice and Legal Affairs, that IBC be constituted immediately so that we can begin with the matters that have been pending for almost 2 years. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks, Mheshimiwa Bembi. If you have anything else to add?
No, apart from, we expect it to be lively. We have a lot to do from the government side. I'm sure there is a lot from the opposition. The committees have a lot of work which must be transacted in the House. So it will be very lively and you will like it.
And before you leave, as a chair of a very important committee, JLAC, how do you feel you performed last session and how are you planning to improve this session?
Actually, we did the best we could last session. I was able, through my committee, to process most of the bills. And we are now just finalizing anything that was left. But we know there is a lot more coming. And we will have to put more effort into this. We will have to spend more time on this because we want government bills and any other bills that come along processed and discharged as quickly as possible.
Thank you so much, Mesh, and all the best as you begin the session. Well, Irene Muchuma Odim, that's it from Parliament. Remember, this afternoon is the official beginning of the third session. And this afternoon, as the chair has said, of the JLAC has said, is that there'll be just the establishment of the House Business Committee, and this one will be formulating what will be transacted in the House, of course, beginning tomorrow morning. The members, we will see whether they will be changed or they will remain as it was in the second session that was last year. Back to you in studio, Irene Muchuma Odim.
Thank you, Kamche. Looking forward to that and also tomorrow. Now, we're taking a short commercial break. We'll be back with more news, including the ones making headlines in the world of business and sports. Stay
sugar, gas, and the crime rate is high. Hii ndio Mushenea daily in the bustling hood of Omokavile. Although, wengine wakiwa na superheroes, sisi tuko na super hustlers.
I hope sugar daddy wako anapenda mapengo.
Cut to the chase.
For business to thrive, crime cannot survive.
Let's dance.
The king in the land of
Where?
This February, precious moments with Channel One entail endless hours of warm sentiments.
I really love you.
Oh, Lord.
Joy.
Did you get the job, Letty?
Romance.
Oh, babe.
Affection. Passion. Family.
Who are those flowers for? Oh, I'm sure they're for Lucia.
Fulfillment.
Oh, this is so sweet.
That's the start.
An array of programs specially selected for you to give you and your loved ones the cozy feeling of being at home.
Impressive.
Baby, let me tell you.
The treat is on us.
Are you serious?
Just give us a chance.
Make a date with KBC Channel 1 in the month of love for a heartwarming experience.
You will love it.
wewe kama Muislamu utakapomtembelea ndugu yako, Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam anasema hakuna Muislamu yoyote atakayemtembelea ndugu yake Muislamu wakati ambapo ni mgonjwa, ikawa muda wake wa kuishi upo katika dunia, bado upo, ule ni mtihani tu Allah amempa kwa ugonjwa kama ule.
Yule ambaye atamtembelea mgonjwa, natija ambayo anaipata ni kuwa wakati ambapo upo katika ile wodi ambayo umeenda kumtembelea yule mgonjwa ama katika chumba chake, itakuwa ni kana kwamba upo katika bustani, katika mabustani ya pepo ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Well, we get entertained, educated, as well as informed on radio by people we hardly know. But then these are people with rich voices and requires a lot of forward thinking while at work. It is World Radio Day and the celebrations continue. Right now, we're crossing over to the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Radio Hall, where we are having the celebrations. Beatrice Gatonyangetich is this afternoon engaging the radio program's manager, Mary Daraja. Beatrice, good afternoon.
All right. Who else is in the house? Music. Mwabo, are you in the house? Yes. Mwatu. Operation, are you in the house? Very good. Nice. I will welcome our ARPM, Madam Mumi, to take over from here so that we can start officially. Thank you.
So are we all in the house? Yay! Yeah, that is not enough. Are we in the house? Yay! MD is in the house. Is he in the house? Yay! Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I'm assuming you see your ladies and gentlemen of the press. Good afternoon. How are you? How does it feel to be members of radio? Munaniangusha. How does it feel to be members of radio, this great department? We are live on TV. We are live on TV. We are live on TV, yeah? As I stand here, I am reminded of the rich history of radio. A history that we are part of. Wherever we joined, it doesn't matter where we joined the history of radio, but we are part of it and we are proud to be this rich history, which started in 1927 here in Kenya, but way back elsewhere in the world. Here in Kenya, 1927. So I welcome you to today's celebration. We feel at radio, guests, the MD, I can see the corporation secretary, and earlier on I saw the finance and administration manager. Karibuni kwa radio, be part of this big team. I joined KBC way back when KBC was, okay, I may say it is a long time ago, but there are people who will tell you that it is a long time ago. I met a gentleman here who's now rested with the Lord called Ambrose Wakaria, and he's the one who was giving me the history of radio. He told me that he joined this corporation in 1953. 1953 is when KBC, or when radio started broadcasting in vernacular languages. That is when stations like Central, which were broadcasting in Kikuyu, I think Kimeru, Kimasai, and then there were Western stations that were broadcasting in Luo, Luhya, Kalenjin. This is when they were established. The colonialists by then discovered that they needed to arrest the uprising that was taking part. I am informed that by then, people who had gone to Burma, so you know your history. My grandfather went to Burma. They went to fight. And they went to fight a war that was not theirs. But they discovered while they were there that they could also come. When they came back, they could also start the uprising and start fighting. And so these stations were started to arrest the uprising that was taking part. And the Mzungu discovered that he had to speak to the people in the languages that they understood then. And so the vernacular stations came about. Today in KBC, we have about 13 vernacular speaking stations. 15, I am correct?
It is the World Radio Day. The celebrations are underway at Radio Hall. Here at the Broadcasting House. Beatrice Gatonyi-Ngetich is on that beat. She will be compiling a news item later on in the day, just for you to understand the beauty of being behind the mic, as well as the history behind radio broadcasts. In other news this afternoon, Kenya Environmental Health and Public Practitioners Union is calling on the government to conduct annual mass recruitment of public health officers, specialists, and technicians. Speaking during a peaceful protest, the union's Secretary General Brown Ashira said this aims not only to improve service delivery, but also seamlessly replace personnel exiting the service due to natural attrition and retirement.
Kenya Environmental and Public Practitioners Union took to the streets of Nairobi in a peaceful demonstration to decry the shortage of job opportunities in the country. In a bid to salvage the situation, the union's Secretary General Brown Ashira has called on the government to conduct annual mass recruitment of public health officers, specialists and technicians.
Tuko na uhaba wa maafisa wa afya. Right from the last time this country employed public health officers was in 2013. Minister of Health pekeke, the points of entry hatujapata public, tuko na kuna brain drain. Watu hawajiriwi, officer ni mmoja kwa points of entry.
The burden of the cancer. Sababu we don't have enough officers on the ground. People are being trained at KMTC. We have trainings who are still admitting public health officers. Why are you training if you cannot employ? We need all the officers tamarking, employed, posted for interns, just equally as nurses, as doctors, as lab technicians, as pharmacists. We need our officers posted.
Being the champions of preventive health care, the practitioners also are advocating for the promotion of and redesignation of all deserving public health officers.
Pay our interns on time. Post our interns. Kama wezi post interns, every day tutashinda hapa.
So the interns have been raising issues as zikisikilizwa.
The union is expected to submit a petition before Parliament. Kasi Chanamasha, Lunchtime News.
The church has distanced itself from allegations that the oncoming crusade by Pastor Benny Hinn has been funded by taxpayers' money. The crusade, which has been slated for 24th to 25th February at New Stadia, is expected to draw more than 60,000 believers from over 20 countries and different denominations. Speaking in Nairobi today, the Men of Cloth, led by Archbishop Harrison Nganga, said the chair of Crusades Organizing Committee that the event has been organized, funded and coordinated by the churches of Kenya and not the taxpayers' money, the clergy being categorical that the government does not fund religious activities.
This mega crusade is organized by the church in Kenya, and the churches and Kenyans of goodwill have supported and funded this event in cash and kind. Kenya is open to all visitors in Kenya. Kenya is open to all visitors, both for tourism, business, and even faith-related and charitable activities. I do not believe that the government funds religious activities. We understand the importance of maintaining the trust and confidence of the public, and we chose to reassure Kenyans that this is not their tax used in this event. Lastly, we appreciate the support of our security.
KBC's acting managing director Paul Masharia is leading the celebrations at Radio Hall Days as we mark the World Day for Radio. And right now, the radio programs manager Mary Darajo is currently speaking. Let's cross over and listen in.
Where it provided endless entertainment and a sense of companionship. From the golden age of radio dramas to the chart-topping musical hits that sweetened our memories, radio has been the soundtrack to our lives. It has sparked laughter, romance, and provided a shared cultural experience that unites us all in celebration. As we commemorate this century of informing, educating, and entertaining, let us express our gratitude to the pioneer broadcasters who brought radio to life with their positive storytelling. Yet as we contemplate the future, characterized by rapid technological advancement, radio retains its significance, able to continue its crucial role of informing, educating, and entertaining future generations. Wishing you all a happy World Radio Day.
Makofi. Thank you very much. Our CS was a keen listener of radio, and still he is. And that's why he's joined us on this great day to ensure that we celebrate radio, we celebrate the power of radio, we celebrate the milestone of radio. You will agree with me that many people, when they listen to radio, they look forward to meeting these sweet voices on radio so that they are able to identify with the sweet voices on radio. You may not know the power of radio, but radio has changed lives. And some of us will be speaking about what radio has done. And I know that most of you were listening to radio back then, and that's how you were motivated to become journalists. Some of you were not accessing newspapers, but you were able to access radio. You were not accessing TV because TV was a luxury then. Radio, because of its portability, affordability, everyone was able to access, and that's how most of us were motivated to become journalists. I take this opportunity to welcome our acting managing director. We want to thank you for finding time to join radio, to come and celebrate with us. And I will give an opportunity to the acting managing director to just give us a word of encouragement and also tell us what he knows about radio. Welcome, Bwana Managing Director.
Which one? This one? Tosha. Yeah? Oh, this one. Okay. Good afternoon. Yes, I'm happy to join you this afternoon. I know we are celebrating 100 years of radio broadcast. And in Kenya, it is allowed 96 or 97 years, because the history tells us that it was started in 1928. And we started as a East Africa Broadcast Service. And then we transitioned to Kenya Broadcast Service. We know about VOK, and then we transitioned to Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. We have also seen through radio various technologies which we have used. I know those who are old enough, like senior citizens, We started with the shortwave, then came midwave technology, and now we are having what we are calling the FM technology. I think we have all used radio in our homes, and we know that we are also facing what we call the digital competition, because I know what we do, the social media is also doing it, but I don't think they will do what we are doing, because it is only in radio whereby you can do other things as you listen, but for the digital media, I think you have to leave everything else so that you concentrate on what you are doing. So radio is a very powerful, because it doesn't stop you from doing your other works. So I think it will continue to be popular. So we should not be scared by the digital technology, because I think we have a place even in the future. For me, I know radio is a source of entertainment when I was growing. It's the only area that you could go, we knew when to get the new music that is coming up, the old ones, and the news when they come. I know those people of my age, they know that we know that Yariomo comes at around 8:30 in the evening, and we would listen to PKK Mwaiwa Githeji telling us that mashogani yasiyolegalegwa na machozi. I think we all have history, and I know all of us can associate ourselves with certain presenters. We have Akina Mambo Bodera, Elizabeth Obege. I think during our times they were very popular, and I think some of you maybe those are your mentors. And I know everybody has someone who he can mention that made him or her like listening to the radio. So radio has contributed also to our socio-economic development. It has shared knowledge. We also knew about new technologies that are coming through radio, and we also knew what was happening in the whole world. Remember those days you used to go to listen to BBC? You could know what is happening all over the world. So and I think even now, radio has come even nearer to us, because now you can listen it to your own language. And I think that is how we associate with the radio. Because if you go even in our cars, some of them are just tuned to our favorite radio stations. And I think this is good for us to celebrate the 100 years of radio broadcast. So I am wishing everyone, all our presenters, all our engineers, and everybody who takes part to make our national radio and the community radio work. I wish them a very happy World Radio Day. Thank you.
Makofi tena. Aya basi. Ebo kuja tudanzie mbia hapa. Can you join me?
Celebrations at KBC Radio Hall as Kenya joins the world in marking World Radio Day. Now, time for business news. The Kenya shilling gained ground against the dollar on Tuesday thanks to the dollar inflow attributed to the government sell on an infrastructure bond and subdued imported demand. Commercial banks quoted the shilling at 157 per dollar compared with Monday's closing rate of 158.5. The shilling has gained about 7 shillings over the past week against the dollar.
2023,
The Kenya shilling lost 25% of its value against the US dollar, falling from an average of 120 shillings to 160 shillings owing to tight monetary policy, inflationary pressure and high public debt. The government has been deploying measures to strengthen the shilling. During its meeting last week, the Monetary Policy Committee raised central bank rate from 12.5% to 13%. The proposed action was to ensure that inflationary expectations remain anchored as well as addressing residual pressures on the exchange rate. CBK Governor Kamau Thuge noted that the shilling would begin gaining ground soon owing to dollar inflows from multilateral partners and the repayment of the Eurobond. Kenya's shilling gained ground against the dollar on Tuesday, thanks to the dollar inflows attributed to the government sale of an infrastructure bond and subdued importer demand. Commercial banks quoted the shilling at 157 per dollar. The shilling gained 7 shillings over the last week after the central bank governor said that the shilling had overshot its equilibrium rate and there could be scope to support it. Bids for the 70 billion shillings infrastructure bond closed on Wednesday. Importers are said to be the biggest beneficiaries given that they purchase goods in dollars.
In sports, 6 clubs from Uganda and Rwanda have already arrived in the country ahead of the 15th edition of the Arthur Odera Volleyball Open Tournament set for this weekend at Malaba Stadium in Busia. Some of the clubs that have already arrived are Bukedia, Amos of Uganda, and St. Alois and APR from Rwanda.
Preparations are in top gear for this year's edition of the Arthur Odera Volleyball Open Tournament to be played this weekend in Busia. The event will be preceded by the Kenya Volleyball Federation Nation League that commences on Thursday, where heavyweights will be battling for the third leg glory. Busia Deputy Governor, who is the event sponsor, stated that expectations are high for a full house attendance in the National League and also for the tournament.
And on that note, we have come to the end of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback. And as we continue to mark World Radio Day, we do appreciate our colleagues in radio stations. My name is Irene Muchumodim. On the language interpretation this afternoon, we have Lensa Odingo. Good afternoon.